Hey Squishies! Back again, another vlog. This is 7 Deadly Sins, Season 1, Episode 3, The Sin in the Sleeping Forest. So, during the closing credits, I was basically thinking, well, it's too good to be true that Meliodas is dead. And I was going through all the different possibilities, he might be faking, he might be badly wounded, but, the others are able to get him to some kind of a healer. He might, whatever it is that made him young could also make him, very hard to kill and able to heal from things. It turned out to be the first one in the post-credits scene. He pops up and is fine, and it was all a ruse to learn more information, which, okay, good, that's a clever ruse. I still really don't like Meliodas. That's the thing. I like him, every episode, he does something, usually near the beginning, that makes me go, you suck, Meliodas. This time, groping Elizabeth and stealing her panties, which is just horrifying. And yes, Elizabeth's responses to his attacks, because that's what they are relatively, low-key. She doesn't seem to mind that much. But that's a choice by the writers. Any real woman, unless she had consented to some weird stuff beforehand, any real woman would be like, no. Anybody would be like, no, you don't get to touch me and steal my underwear. That's not a thing people do without permission. Frankly, even asking permission to do that is not a thing most people do. I mean, if you're into that, fine, but no evidence that Elizabeth is. But the writers have chosen to write her this way because what? Well, see, the thing about it, Meliodas, is he's a bully. You can see that in how he responds to Diane as opposed to Elizabeth. Against Elizabeth, he gropes her, he, does all these inappropriate things because it generates a reaction from her, but it's not a strong enough reaction for him to feel like he's in any actual trouble. Like, she doesn't leave, she doesn't, attack him, she couldn't really, etc. He is able to assert that he's in a position of power over her. If she wants to get the help to bring the kingdom back, she has to put up with this shit. Diane would probably flatten him into a pancake if he tried that crap on her. But Diane likes him. So he's able to say, so he can assert power over her by being dismissive of her feelings towards him. And that's what he does. He goes around bullying his supposed friends. So then the question is, why? Why is it being written this way? Why is this show being written with a main character who's just a complete bully and asshole? And I was kind of thinking about that, and it got me thinking about antiheroes. So, traditionally, the antihero is someone who performs heroic deeds but lacks heroic qualities. It's someone who is, and I think I've talked about this in past videos, but I can't remember for what show. I know I've talked about it in panels. The antihero is someone who goes out into the world and does the great deeds of a hero and, saves people or whatever, but they do it despite either lacking qualities that a hero would be expected to have or having qualities that a hero would be expected to not have. So, for example, some of the best-known examples of anti-heroes in pop culture, Frodo Baggins and Sam Gamgee. They are able to go on the great quest to destroy the ring despite being small and weak and not, heirs to any lost thrones or anything like that. They're just these two little guys. Or to use another well-known example, Han Solo. He performs heroic deeds and helps destroy the first Death Star and saves Luke's life, despite being, a smuggler, a scoundrel, a criminal, someone who hangs out with criminals, who's in it, at least initially, for the money, etc. Not things that heroes normally are. Except that anti-heroes have gotten so popular that I think now we do expect our heroes to be assholes. Because in particular, the kind of hero that's gotten incredibly popular is the guy who starts out as an asshole and then evolves to become more heroic in attitude as well as action. It's Iron Man, in the film version anyway. It's, what's his name? Chris Pratt's character in Guardians of the Galaxy. The list goes on and on of characters who are like this. And what it means is that we've come to expect being an asshole as a heroic trait. Yes, we expect our heroes to grow out of it after a while, but it still creates this idea that, you have to be an asshole first. Nobody gets to be a hero unless they're an asshole. I have a little bit of a problem with that. Since heroes are generally presented as aspirational figures, it kind of says a lot about our culture. It's not the only place in our culture where you see evidence of this idea that you have to be an asshole to get stuff done. That it's the assholes who make the world work the way they want it to work. And the result of that being a widespread belief in our culture is that it is the assholes who get to make the world work the way they want it to work. Because things tend to work out the way large numbers of people expect them to, because on some level people are helping to make it happen that way. So we all expect the assholes to win, so the assholes win. Which leaves us with Meliodas. Oh, he's supposed to be a hero. Let's make him an asshole. Let's have him harass women constantly, be a bully to all his supposed allies and friends, and just generally be an all-around terrible person. But let's frame it so that it's expected that the audience will find this funny. Let's frame it all like it's jokes. The problem is, you can frame something as a joke, but how is person with power abuses it funny? Like, a person, humor comes from an interruption of the expected. Him being an asshole isn't unexpected. It isn't an interruption of anything. It's just boring and makes him unlikable as a character. If you take Meliodas out of the equation, I like Diane a lot. She's, the whole jealous girl thing is, imagines herself to be in a relationship that really isn't, but that got dropped pretty quickly, and hopefully it'll stay dropped. And just generally, I mean, I am on record, I like tsunderes. And Diane is actually a rare case of, like, the inside-out tsundere, where she's nice to everyone except when it involves the person she's interested in romantically, and then she gets a temper. Usually with tsundere characters, it's the other way around. They have a temper with everyone, but they've got a soft spot that only comes out when it involves the person that, they're romantically interested in. She's the reverse, which is, it happens, it's a thing, but it's nowhere near as common, and so it's kind of nice to see. So that's a character I'm going to enjoy going forward, I think. And, they weren't in this episode, but I like the giant pig. That's just a cool concept. And Gilthunder is pretty generic, like, rival villain type. I give it about a 75% chance at this point that he ends up joining the good guys. He's being set up to be very much like the Viral or Vegeta of the group. Especially if one of those 7 deadly sins is dead, that means there's a slot for one. Just saying. And I could see him fitting in for Sloth. His whole kind of, like, reserved, minimalist approach. Yeah, I could see that. He does the least amount necessary to get the job done. That's kind of like Sloth. Yeah. But, yeah, no, I like him. The fight scene was alright. It wasn't great. There's nothing that made me go, like, oh, that. Last episode with the spear throwing thing, that was pretty cool. This was more like, okay, it's a fantasy anime fight scene. It's got the standard elements of a fantasy anime fight scene. But, again, it's only episode 3. They're not going to pull out all the stops yet. Yeah. So far, like I said before, this is kind of an average shonen show with a really unlikable main character, and that's really what's pulling it down for me. But I'm still willing to, give it a chance and see where it goes. Hopefully it'll do something really unusual and interesting. I'm still curious, about why Meliodas is so young, why Diane is so large, why they haven't changed in a decade. Presumably that'll be explained eventually. Yeah. That's about it. Hope you all enjoyed that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you look over on the right side of the screen, there should be a link to my Patreon. You can check that out for early access to videos, essays, all kinds of little goodies. Otherwise, keep watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!